Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. I hope you are having a great day, and if you are just tuning in, be sure to pop into the comments and say hello, even if you're watching the replay. For those who are new, I am your host, Ed Troxel. I'm the tech-savvy business strategist who helps overwhelmed business owners get organized and overcome today's tech challenges. You can find out all about me at edtroxel.com. I popped that link into the comments for you. While you're over there, make sure to sign up for my email list. It's free. You get one email a week, and it gives you a weekly recap of what I'm up to and all of the episodes here of Ed Talk TV, so then that way you have it in your inbox. I hand everything to you, so it's really awesome. You might as well. And don't forget to check out Hey Ed. That is the tech support community that you need to be aware of if you're not already a part of it. Hey Mickey, welcome. Hey Ed is the tech support community that I built 6 months ago, and I use the name Hey Ed because that's usually what the conversation will start with. Hey Ed, can you help me with XYZ? Hey Ed, do you know where to find XYZ? So I created a tech support service for you. It's a community, I call it, but that's a monthly membership where you can come in and ask your questions around business and tech and get answers. So take a look at that. It's very helpful, and I hope that you will consider joining because it's awesome. Now, for those who are new to the show, be sure to pop into the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, at minimum, say hello. But I'm hoping that you'll continue to engage not only with me, but everyone else here in the comments as well. Like you saw, Mickey said hello already, so I said hello. And it starts that conversation, and it's good for all of us. So be sure to do that. If you're new to the show, also know that this is a business talk show. We talk about business, tech, and the user experience. And today, we're actually going to talk about a new concierge service that just launched yesterday, and what it means to you and why you even care, because we're going to start picking apart a couple things from it. But before we do that, we're going to jump into what I like to call random news. So for random news today, I'm going to switch my screen over to show you. How many of you guys have ever seen a poster like this one? Let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. This is a fun one. It says, wanted to borrow an orange cat. Wanted to borrow an orange cat for 24 to 48 hours to have a lasagna dinner with Garfield loving 4-year-old and 2-year-old children. Will return cat happy and cared for. Cat will not be required to eat lasagna. Please, no feral cats. And please take your cat back. We're not trying to adopt. Thank you. And then there's more information. So how funny is this? A mom posted this at work, and then of course this made its way through the internet, obviously, because it's really random. Like, how many of you guys have seen a random poster like this? If you have, I want to know what kind of poster was it. But the mom wanted to have the cat just for 24 to 48 hours, which is super weird. But you do what you got to do for your kids, right? You guys are parents. A lot of you watching this, or even if you're watching the replay, you guys are parents. Is this something you would do for your kids? If they're totally into Garfield, is this something you would do if you didn't have a cat? Would you ask to borrow someone's cat? Because all her friends don't have an orange cat. So you know, you got to use the tools and resources you have available. We're always talking about that, and this is one of them. So fingers crossed she will find the cat. In case you're curious if she has yet or not, as of this post earlier today, no, she has one on lock, but we'll see what happens. For those who don't know what that means, she has one lined up because the first one fell through, so fingers crossed the second one doesn't. So there you have it. If you're looking for an orange cat, or if you have an orange cat and you're close by, I forget, I think she's in Carolina or somewhere, I forget. But anyway, you can go ahead and share that cat. Now, let's jump into today's content of concierge service. So how many of you guys are familiar with a concierge service? Just go ahead in the comments, tell me some kind of service. Maybe you don't know the name, but you know what they offer. What kind of concierge services are you familiar with, or have you seen pop up around the place? Around the world. We can talk about concierge service for cars, for food, all kinds of stuff. Mickey says, nope, my son was totally into Garfield. We got by with videos and a stuffed one, but I wasn't this creative. See? creative. I like how you put that spin on there. Just being creative. So that is in reference back to the Garfield. For those who are just joining, my computer is super slow, so let me go back over to my screen here. So when it comes to concierge service, we have to remember that with any business, right? And we talked a lot about this with our website or building a website, where we're always trading time or money, right? If you can't afford, we'll stick over here. If you can't afford to pay someone to build a website for you, then your alternative is using your time to figure out how to build one. May not be the best one, may not be the best use of your time, but that's your option. But if you don't have the time, then you need to make the money and put the money out to have someone else build it for you, right? We've talked about that on the show before, and that's a common thing. So for those who don't have a website, later check out my site, edtroxel.com. There are packages there if you need help. But when we are coming up with a business, we're always having to choose time or money. And it always comes down to convenience, right? Which is why we have our iPhones, our Android phones, why we have OK Google, why we have Siri. She almost came on. Okay. It's why we have these services and why we have the smart TVs now, the Alexas, and all these things, coming around us that are making our lives, for the most part, more convenient. But of course, we're trading something else in exchange. So it could be time, it could be money, or if we're talking about, the technology, it's going to be our privacy. I mean, let's just be real. It's going to be our privacy because the device is always listening. It's not to be paranoid. It is what it is. So when it comes to these concierge services, we have to look a little deeper into what problem are they solving, and is it something that you can actually solve? So think about for a minute before we jump into what the actual service is, and we'll run through it. But think about this for a minute, especially those who are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. If you're trying to figure out what to do, or you have all these different directions you could go, maybe a lot of you are going in these different directions, pull back for a second and think about what is just one problem that you see people experiencing that it's not really a problem for you. You're okay with having to stand in line, or you're okay with having to drive someone around. You're okay with having to go pick up the kids. Like all these things that are common in our everyday life that maybe don't annoy you, but they annoy other people. Are there services out there to help them with that? And if not, is that something that you want to take on, right? Think about Uber. Think about grocery delivery straight to your house. Think about personal shoppers. I mean, we have concierge services all around us. It's not just when we go stay at a hotel. It's wherever we go, and it's wherever our phone is, right? Because we have apps for that now. Well, now there is a new concierge service called DMV Line Concierge Service. So how many of you have ever been, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you have ever been to the DMV and had to wait in line? Raise your hand, give me a little emoji, say yes, that's me. Now, while you're doing that, think about how much time did you waste standing in line at the DMV? And I don't know about you, but the DMV, thankfully it's been a while since I've been to mine, but around my area, you could be waiting anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, maybe more, but on average it's 2 to 3 hours, at least the last time I checked. That's a long time. Now, of course, if you're someone like me, you're going to plan for that, and you're going to make the most of it because you're going to take your phone or your laptop and get, your hotspot set up with your carrier so you can have internet, so you don't have to worry about if they have Wi-Fi or not. And you're going to get work done because that's what we do, right? We plan ahead, and we know that we're going to be able to get some work done. You can even do a Facebook Live of what you're doing at the DMV and why, and, all these things come up. What is the DMV? Great question. That's the Department of Motor Vehicle. I don't know. Isn't that the whole thing? Glad that's not on the test. The DMV is where you go to get your driver's license, and to get your permits and things like that. I'm sure you can do a whole lot more there. Obviously, I haven't been there for so long. I don't even know what else you can do there nowadays. But you can get your ID cards, things like that. And so it's really a hard place to go because there's always lines. You're always waiting. And it's not the most happy place. Let's just say that. For those who work at the DMV, I'm really sorry. Mickey says, yep, DMV lines are, but when I had AAA, they did a lot of our DMV transactions in the AAA office. Sort of a concierge. Perfect. Yeah, see? And I haven't even gone that route yet, but I did hear that you can do that with AAA for those of you who have AAA, which is another service. So it's great, right? Well, now with this DMV line concierge service by YoGov, we'll take a look at the site in just a second. They're actually offering a service that allows you to book your appointment with the DMV and then through them basically hire someone to wait in line for you. So that way you're only showing up when you're absolutely needed. They're having stand-ins for you. How crazy is this? How cool is this? How many of you are like, yes, I would love to take advantage of that? Paula says, I have going to the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. Yeah, okay, perfect, yeah. So, see, I had it right, huh? I should get an A+ on that one. So, let me pull up on my screen here, just so you guys can see this news article. So, they're on average, they are charging about $25 an hour for the stand-in, and it works both inside and outside for anybody who has the pre-check and the indoor waiting. Now, the cool thing, and it may not be available in your area yet, these are the areas that it's available in my spot. So in the Bay Area, California here, these are the different areas, cities that it's available in. Now, this is cool, right? Because even if this is not for you, no problem, Paul, I figured it out. Even if this isn't for you, this specific service, what I want you to think about is how they took a problem, waiting in line for the DMV, just one problem, and they broke it out. They said, hey, this is a problem for people. Many, many people face this. How can we make this better? Well, why don't we create a service where you can basically hire/rent someone to stand in line for you? And then when it's your turn, you swoop in, get your documents and everything that you need taken care of, and then you swoop out. Now let's take a look at their website because it's also important to note how they have it laid out for this. So on this page, they have many pages, of course, but this is the one dedicated to the new service. When you look at it, it says, we'll wait in line for you at the DMV. So it gives you some info. It tells you how it works in what? 3 magical steps. Remember the power of 3 for those who have been following the show? We talk a lot about how there's a power of 3. If you can really narrow it down to the top 3 things, you're good. There's just this magic number of 3. So they tell you how it works. Our concierge will text you as soon as they arrive. Our concierge will keep you updated as needed. And then you'll be notified 30 minutes to check in so you can head over. Not bad, right? I mean, that's pretty straightforward. And it even has the little graphics to show you where they're at, you know, how it looks, because we need that visual cue. It's one thing to read it, but it's another to actually have that visual cue. Mickey says somebody should sell coffee and snacks at the DMV like the ballpark. Well, Mickey, if we think outside the box and we think, how can we make this better? Now someone could partner with this concierge service to offer coffee and treats, coffee and snacks. And you can have a little mobile cart. I mean, I don't know what the regulations would be to go, you know, you'd have to do your research, but that's how you would make this better, right? Or you could even partner with them and do a proposal and say, hey, I would love to bring this to the table for you guys. Can we work out a deal? and then see what happens. You know, you never know. You never know. They might be watching this later and be like, dang, this is a good idea. We should do that. So if you're thinking about doing that, you better jump on it. But it's just a nice way to go through there. But you see how Mickey already pointed out another struggle for people who have to wait. They're wanting something to drink, something to eat. Why not add that in, right? Why not make that experience? Because it's all about the experience. And we know, if you've ever been to a DMV, the experience is not that great. So it's trying to figure that problem out and making that solution, which in this case, for standing in line, they have the solution. Then they talk about the fine print here. And then over on the right-hand side, and you can see that this page is not very long. They tell you what people have said on Yelp. They give you a little disclaimer at the bottom. And then over here, if you're ready to book, they give you those options. Now, I should also tell you that I'm not affiliated with them in any case. For those who are new to the show, it's a business talk show. So I just bring up random articles and things that come up, and we just talk about them for business and user experience and all of that. So I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, but it's just something to note. And then you can see how they have it lined up. So this kind of gives you some ideas of how a concierge service could work for you. So what you want to think about is, again, what's one problem that most people are facing, but maybe is not a real problem for you, and that you could be the solution. And then from there, write out what that process looks like. As you saw, they have a 1, 2, 3 step process that they're explaining to us, the customer or possible customer. So what's that process like? How's that going to look for your user, your customer? And then how much is it going to cost? That's what you want to think about, because you have to figure out how much is it going to cost in order to run the business, but also to make a profit, and also not be too expensive for your clients or your ideal clients and customers, right? I mean, in some cases, waiting in line at the DMV, depending on your target market, you might have somebody that would pay $100 or $200 right off the bat for somebody else to wait in line, you know, thinking big CEOs and people that just don't need to be there. So you have to think, who is your main target market? What are they trading? Time, money. What's their time worth, right? If they're making a ton of money per hour, say $500 an hour, but they got to go wait in line at the DMV, and your service is only $30, $50, $100, that's still going to be in their favor, right? But if it's the average Joe who's maybe making $25 an hour and really can't afford that, then they're going to stick it out and stay most likely in line with them for their appointment. So just think about that. Hopefully this was helpful. I like to try to keep these a little shorter as possible. And if you guys want to become a guest on the show, I love having guests on the show where you can share your expertise. You don't have to have X amount of followers or anything like that. You just have to, over on edtroxel.com, just click on shows, and then you'll see Ed Talk TV, and then you can fill out the guest request form. It's also located on the contacts page. I got you covered. So anywhere you want on the website there, you can find it, and then just fill out the form and let me know what you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. So I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and that this helps you think a little more outside the box and kind of get organized with what's one problem that you might have the solution for. What's that process look like? And what's that cost going to look like? That way it can benefit both you and the customer. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. What is the Hey Ed community? I'll let them tell you.
I'm drawn to this community, Erica, because listen, I'm going to make sure as a business person, I know you are as well, serious business women, we're going to make sure that we're getting the content knowledge we need from the Hey Ed community. But I also want to laugh. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy my workday. And I know I'll get that balance in the hand
Yeah.
community. I know he'll tolerate our tangents.
And I think that's the perfect way to have a really good engaged community. It's a perfect balance of business and fun, you know. And